Hello. Hope you're feeling well. I would say it's a lovely day outside, but it's actually 6 o'clock in the morning, and well, I won't be running today because I went out yesterday. For today's video, I've actually been really looking forward to making this one. In fact, I've been itching to make the recording. The script has actually been written for about a week, and I've kind of like been umming and ahhing as to whether or not to post it or not. I think actually I've got no alternative other than to make the posting. It's been many months in the making actually, i.e. gathering information. But for today I'm not going to be talking about running. Here I'll be discussing dementia and not about the illness itself, although that kind of like just there's sort of like little bits and pieces of that in here. Rather, this video is about helping people with early onset dementia, in particular how I would say how much support early onset dementia people get from the charities, but I can't because I don't actually think they do enough. So also before I say anything else, this is actually about the Alzheimer Society. I can't comment on any of the other charities because they didn't kind of like act in the way that the Alzheimer's did. So I just want to kick off with a couple of quotes that I took from Lily actually took from the Alzheimer's Society's website, and these are: from day one of dementia, we'll be right here for you. And another page which said, help us support people affected by dementia. In other words, they actually do support people that are affected by dementia. I think, if anything, that's me. I'm affected by dementia because I've got it. So a few comments before I get started, which is essentially going to be a rant. To begin, I think my opinion is important because I'd say that many people with dementia don't actually have a voice of their own and can't campaign for things themselves. I would also add, with that previous comment in mind, I'd like to add how amazing people are that go out of their way to support and speak up for people that essentially have no voice. But I have to wonder, they can't truly, I'm not taking away that these people help people with dementia, but at the end of the day, they can't truly understand what it's like because they don't actually have dementia. For all the haters out there, I've got to add this, comment because I do actually get quite a lot of abuse. This is for all the haters out there because a lot of the work I do can be a little bit controversial. I get quite a lot of abuse, normally through email, but sometimes it's up elsewhere. People, say they don't believe I have dementia. You know, for example, they wonder how someone with dementia can make a video and post it on YouTube. My answer to that is I have a really supportive family. My daughter, my youngest daughter, she writes like scripts. She does all the research, and she's responsible for 50% of the comms. That's not to say that I don't have any input. She researches and writes what I ask for, and then when she's got it all together, we edit it. Yeah. So, and unbeknown to you, behind the camera, which is there, I'm actually reading from a script. So, and also, because I've been, doing videos for a while now, I've made like a conscious effort to appear to be talking naturally without a script, to make my videos more engaging. If you're in any doubt as to whether or not I've got dementia or not, there's proof on my website. It's actually at leemiller.run/docs.html. When me and Lily are like editing the video later, I'll put that in there, the actual link for you to see. But if you visit YouTube and look down in the description, the link will be there. When you visit that page, you'll find a letter of diagnosis from my consultant, and also a letter from my GP, which I use for when asking for funding. People need proof that the equipment I'm asking for isn't going to cause me any harm. As I said, that link is in the description below if you need it. You also have to understand that I'm not actually taking anything away from the Alzheimer Society. The work they do is absolutely amazing. No one can say otherwise. And they support older people with dementia really well, their families, and people that know them and care for them. The same applies to Kate Lee. Hello Kate, if you're watching. I'm not taking anything away from you either. Kate is the CEO of the Alzheimer Society, and as a follower of hers on Twitter, I know she does a lot of good work and works tirelessly, for the society. I mean, I actually got quite close with one of the ladies who actually works in, she did work for the Alzheimer Society, and she, couldn't sing the praises of Kate Lee anymore, Apparently, according to the lady, I'm sorry, her name escapes me, she said Kate's an amazing lady, she's got time for everyone, and, I'm not sure if I agree with that, but we'll see what happens. So my question in this video, and basically that's the purpose of this video, is to ask Kate and the society she leads if they feel people with early onset dementia are supported adequately, and also what they plan to do about this obvious deficit. Now, I don't know if you've been following along with the Alzheimer Society, on Twitter, and also Kate's posts, but I think Kate's been visiting number 10, and doing kind of what she calls a sit-in where she's kind of like trying to demand that the government post details on their 10-year plan for dementia. I think I've got that right. Apologies if I haven't. But I'd like to know, what the Alzheimer Society are planning to do for people with early onset dementia. So yeah. So how have I come to this conclusion? That people with early onset dementia aren't supported in a manner that's acceptable, I would say. And apologies, I realise that's not going to be a popular opinion, but before you start with the abuse or the negative comments, remember I do actually have dementia, and I believe that I should be listened to. RE, what it's like actually living with dementia. That's no walk in the park, I can assure you. Before I actually get onto the meat of the subject, I would ask all of you to do me a favour and visit Google, click on images and just type in dementia in search, and then notice that in the results there's just thousands of pictures of elderly people. Things need to change. There's more and more people getting early onset dementia, and we're not actually giving any help. Now I know, I've not actually got to the stage yet where how do I put it? Where I'm kind of like I've completely forgotten who I am and all that. I have actually had quite a few personality changes, as the wife will say. But yeah, we need help. We're not getting it, and that needs to change. And one way or another, I'm going to make sure it does. While I can, that is. I'd also, just as an example, I want to take you back to a time about 5 years ago. Well, I say about, it was 5 years ago. When I was diagnosed, I don't remember this at all. I don't actually remember anything that happened last week, let alone 5 years ago. But my wife accompanied me apparently to the appointment with the consultant. And after she was told that I had dementia, she asked the guy, what and how do I tell my children? And in response, the consultant said, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Miller. I can't help you. There's no help for kids. And apparently we discussed if and how we should talk about it to the kids. And that took many months of discussions before we actually told our youngest. And even then, she didn't understand what was going on. Not like the older child. So I'm here to talk frankly and campaign for better services for young people with dementia, and for young children who are affected too. While the Alzheimer Society do a lot for older people, in my honest opinion, I don't think they've been proactive when it comes to helping people like me. My needs and the needs of others who are young. Young is anyone under 65, by the way. Our needs are totally different to that of, older people with dementia. Which now leads me on to the part of the video now where I kind of describe how I actually got the opinion or how I got this kind of like negative opinion about the Alzheimer Society. And for those of you that have been following my journey from the dementia diagnosis to training, running, a couple of thousand, 3,000 miles a year I run. For training, reversing diabetes, and getting ready to compete in an Ironman. You'll know that I've been asking for funding for a TT bike. That's actually an essential item. Now, before you start thinking, oh, this guy's disgruntled, that's not actually the case. As I said in my official complaint to the Alzheimer Society, because I've written to them a couple of times now. I understand that it's not their policy to fund individuals, albeit perhaps that their policy is actually being misinterpreted, in my case anyway. But it was through this act of asking for money that I discovered that the Alzheimer Society are yet another organisation that promises much and delivers little. I also don't believe they're open to enough scrutiny. That's just a feeling. I mean, I don't actually know the nitty gritty about how they operate internally, but I've been dealing with their staff since June, and if you think about it realistically, it's probably not normal for an actual person with dementia to get in touch and ask for a donation. I mean, perhaps I'm probably the first, though I would like to add that two charities in Colchester agreed to help me, but similarly to the Alzheimer Society, they had to look at their policies, and rather than making a donation, they actually, what they call, they say they supported me. We're in partnership, that's it. And they did so because of my endeavour inspired them. So, that's two charities completely unrelated to dementia, willing to support me by making an exception to their normal policy. So, I call BS, on the Alzheimer Society, them saying that they can't help, because it's obviously, charities can help. I've looked at their kind of policy, not the actual policy document, but I went to the Charities Commission and kind of had a look at, what the Alzheimer's Society are, kind of what they're allowed to do. Actually, I'll touch on that in a little bit, so I'm not going to go over it here. In all truth, I did write to the Society asking for a small donation. They responded really nicely. They offered congratulations and gave great encouraging verbal support, but added that they couldn't help. However, that if I donated money, I think that amount was £1,000, but I might be wrong, they could send me a running cap, which is quite a stretch really, for someone asking for £100 or 200 at most, who has dementia. These people are supposed to be supporting me, not trying to get money out of me. I was infuriated. But anyway, like my daughter said at the time, that's kind of like going to Cambodia and asking people that are starving if they can donate some food. Um, I mean, obviously I'm a polite person, and while I responded with equal kindness, I went away feeling thoroughly dejected, but mostly I felt insulted. Uh, Remember, these people are supposed to be supporting, like, people like me, and they state it publicly. But well, I can't. I've not seen any evidence of it. I keep going back to that point that I made earlier, is that people with early onset dementia need a different type of support. Having been rejected by the main dementia support charity, my daughter, who I said, well, to be honest with you, she does most of the hard work for me. She carried out some research, and together, actually, we found several companies that supposedly support people with dementia. And she wrote on my behalf, asking for help, for funding for this, for my TT bike. She wrote 67 companies in England, and of these companies that support people with dementia, only 11 replied, all in the negative. We got a couple of really nice replies, again, congratulating me on, my efforts. But what actually annoyed me most was that 4 of these who replied and said no, the reason was that they already supported people, by donating to the Alzheimer Society, so couldn't help me individually. But, and this is the key point, they suggested that I contact the Alzheimer Society, as they'll more likely help. So even businesses that donate to the Alzheimer Society think they're helping people like me. And I'm here to tell you that they're not. It actually makes me so angry, I mean, I'll be alright in a couple of hours after I've finished all this recording, but now that I'm kind of digging over an old memory that kind of hurts. This is and the reason, I don't know if you watched any of my other videos and that, but I always say that the Alzheimer Society are stealing my thunder, because businesses that might have been able to help won't, because they donate to the Alzheimer Society. I don't know, put everything aside, can you imagine how frustrating that is, given that the Alzheimer Society won't support me? Anyway, at this point, I saw red and asked my daughter to write an official complaint. And I hasten to add here, I wasn't actually complaining about not getting the money. Ultimately, that's not what this is about, as you'll soon see. I'll actually go off into another kind of tangent where the actual reason they really I'm going to swear, I don't often, well, hardly ever. The reason that the Alzheimer Society pissed me off so much is just about, come up. I'm going to explain that in a second. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I'm not campaigning for change at the Alzheimer Society because I didn't get money from them. Well, to be honest, perhaps I am a little bit. That's a part of it. But it's also to effect change and provide support for all ages, not just the elderly. They need to be doing more. So in my complaint, I also accused the Society of not recognising or making use of a potentially high value resource. Now I hope that you don't take that as me overselling myself, but that's certainly not meant to be that. I mean, I'm not by any means saying I'm any better or worse than anyone else. I've just wanted to see, can you actually recall anyone with dementia who's seeking to become a world record holder? No, me neither. In fact, everyone I've spoken to at the society thinks that I'm the first to, and probably the only one ever. But, I'd like to add that when I do complete the Ironman, I'll be the world's first person with dementia to do so. And I think I'm the world's only para-triathlete with dementia. So, forget the money, use me as a resource. I can help other people with early onset dementia by giving them hope. I can show younger people with a dementia diagnosis that it doesn't mean that the 7-year prognosis is true, that they can fight and their life definitely isn't over. So yeah, and to my complete surprise, I got a response to my complaint, and amongst other things, to cut a long story short, I was promised help. That the society would provide training in public speaking so that I could talk about dementia to local groups and businesses on their behalf, as well as for my own purposes. And when I checked, actually, it is in their remit to do this, as detailed on the Charity Commission's website. What they do, it says, is training and education. Though in terms of not donating, it also says the advancement of health or saving of lives, which could be interpreted in many ways. I would say that what I'm doing is for the advancement of health and saving lives. So imagine now, at this stage, having got this amazing email from this lady. It was really positive, and over the coming weeks, we kind of started getting on well, and I can't say anything bad about the lady. She was great. I can't remember her name, but yeah, anyway, I was really excited. I was looking forward to the future, when right out of the blue the lady writes to me again saying that she's leaving. This is after already putting me on hold over November and Christmas because the lady was dealing with family illness. But to hear she was now leaving, and not only that my case had been passed lower down the food chain, no offence to an area organiser, was a serious kick in the teeth, and it really made me angry. So, that's not... Basically, I felt like, I was getting kicked in the teeth twice. And so, being me, I headed over to Twitter and wrote to Kate Lee, the CEO, asking for her contact details. I did try to email her. I went on Google and tried to find it. The first email came back as a wrong email, and the second email, which I sent to Kate.Lee, I don't remember the rest of but that, although that went through, I never got a response back from it. But anyway, on Twitter, I gave her my contact details. I also gave her my letter of diagnosis, and asked to speak to her, providing an email to get in touch. And up to this point, Kate hasn't replied, and I doubt she would. But it is my sincere hope that she'll respond to Twitter, respond to this Twitter post because of the video. Like I said, this is nothing personal. I really want to help, and I believe I can do wonders, showing people what's possible with dementia. that's not a death sentence, and you can go on to achieve greatness. One final message. Kate, if you're watching this, just think about this for a minute. Will supporting me help the Alzheimer Society, or better put, am I worthy of an investment? You know, whether or not that's like helping me buy me bike, or helping me like with public speaking, that's up to you. But with the training as promised in public speaking, this will allow me to do something that no one else can. Think about it. Imagine what an actual person with dementia talking about dementia to people and businesses could achieve. Not only that, imagine me telling these people that in your kindness and as a mark of benevolence, the Alzheimer Society helped support me in achieving my Ironman goals, which in return inspired me to such an extent that I'm now a highly active member campaigning for the rights of all people with dementia, not just the elderly. I mean, the other thing that's just actually popped into my head, you know, like you're going to number 10 and sitting on the stairs trying to get the Prime Minister to make a comment on their 10-year plan. Imagine going there with like someone with dementia. Oh well, you know, that would do great wonders, wouldn't it, for their kind of like caring society. But obviously, if you had helped, I'd be able to say that. But up to now, of course, I can't, because all attempts to contact you, you know, you're the only person who with the power to make change, and you're not talking to me. Anyway, that's the complaint over. I've had my rant, which will hopefully get me noticed, more than just commenting. Only now I'll be posting this video to my followers on Facebook, YouTube and other social media platforms. That's probably one of the only benefits that come from having dementia. Well, there's actually several. One of them's being obstinate. The other one is not actually being afraid of speaking my mind. Although, to be fair, I think if my daughter hadn't have written this script, it probably would have had more F's and whatever in it, but that's not. I've kept it, you know, respectful. And above all, I won't be ignored, especially when I feel I've been wronged, and I'm more especially because I'm trying to help. Despite content of this video, I defy anyone to refute my determination, obstinance and passion for the subject of campaigning for young people with dementia. I might not be quiet about it, but you've got to admit I know how to get your attention. Thanks for watching. As I said in this video isn't meant to hurt anyone. If anything, I'd call it a cry for help. It's definitely not personal. I'm just asking that you see reason. And finally, I won't remove this video. I will edit it with a more fairer title and add a section to the end that the Alzheimer's Society does help people with early onset dementia, but only if my opinion changes. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.